The Hadley Institute for the Blind and Visually Impaired presents iFocus, tips on using the vision accessibility features in iOS. In today's installment, we'll look at navigating the News For You tab. Hello, my name is Douglas Walker. Today, we will be checking out how to navigate our News app's For You tab. Now, if we aren't yet familiar with how to use our News app, well, our News app is a fantastic place to go to get the latest news from some of our most trusted news sources. Now, if you aren't familiar with our News app interface yet, you're really going to want to check out our Exploring the News app iFocus video. It does a pretty good job of getting us quickly oriented to all of the tabs in our News app interface. Okay, our News app is right here on our desktop. So how about we just flick to it to get started, and we'll just flick to it.
News. Double tap to open.
Great, and here, of course, is our News app. So we'll just single finger double tap here.
News. Wednesday, September 6th, Nashville, 58 degrees, partly cloudy, heading.
All right, our News app has opened for us, and we have been placed right in our For You tab, which is exactly where we want to be. Now, we heard VoiceOver announce a couple of things. We were told, of course, that our News app has launched for us, so we know for sure that our For You tab here is going to contain all our most current news. And if any new stories are found for us, they're going to be added to the top of our For You list here. Now, we were also told that we have been placed on our current weather, which is at the very top center of our screen here. And of course, it's just below the time up here in our status bar. Now, our For You tab actually includes content or articles from all of the sources that we actually chose during our startup process. Also, Siri monitors the types of articles that we're viewing in Safari or on the web, and Siri will place these suggested articles right here in our For You tab as well. Okay, so remember we've been placed right here on our current weather here in the top center of our screen, and we just so happen to be in Nashville, Tennessee today, which is some really great news to know, right? Now, it's also good to know that as we right-click through our For You tab, we're going to find a list of news articles, and we'll also encounter headings for our content. So, how about we go ahead and just right-click, and we'll check this out. So we'll just right-click.
Wednesday, September 6th, Nashville, 58 degrees. Partly cloudy, heading.
Okay, so here is our, of course, weather again. So it's actually a heading that's just below the weather that we just saw. So let's go ahead and right-click from here.
For You, heading.
Okay, and here's our For You heading. So let's right-click a few times and let's check out these articles. Let's find an interesting article. Now, I may have to do a two-finger single tap to pause the speech here, but we'll just right-click and find ourselves an article here. So we'll just right-click.
Recommendations based on topics and channels you read, heading.
Okay, and there's our For You descriptor there. So we'll just right-click.
The Wall Street Journal, poll shows America's divisions growing, long.
And we'll pause that. We'll right-click again.
Time. The iOS 11 features we're most excited about. These features could change the way you use your iPhone or iPad 2 hours ago. Actions available.
All right, so it didn't take me long to find an article that I'm interested in here. And this looks like an interesting article here. And as we flick through our list, we're given some really great information. We're told, of course, our story's news publication. We're told the title of each one of our stories here. VoiceOver is going to read just a portion of the article's text, and we're told, of course, how long our publication was added to our News app. And, we're also told that we have some custom actions available to us. And we know that with custom actions, that we can just flick up or flick down to sort of cycle or move through all of them. So, how about we check out our actions? We'll just flick down and cycle through our actions here. So we'll just flick down.
Love story.
Okay, and we're given the option to love this story. And you know, anytime we single finger double tap on one of our actions, it's going to add that action. So we could love this type of story, and that's going to mean that more of this type of story is going to appear in our For You list here. So let's go ahead and down and flick down again through another action.
Share.
Great, and we have the ability to share this article with somebody if we like. We could message it to them, or we could email it, but we could share this article with a friend if we like. So let's flick down.
Save.
Great, and here, of course, is our save action here. And remember, our Save tab is going to be the last tab in our screen here. So all of our saved items are going to be saved there in our saved tab for us to read at a later time. So it's really cool. All right, so let's flick down again.
Report.
Okay, so here's a report action, and we could actually report that there's a problem with this maybe. So that's pretty cool. And we'll flick down again.
Dislike story.
Oh, and of course, if we have a story here that we really don't care for and we don't want additional stories to appear in our For You tab, well, we can just single finger double tap and dislike the story, and then we would know that we'll no longer receive these types of stories in our stream here. So we'll just flick down again here.
Activate default.
Okay, so here's our default action. So we know that if we were to single finger double tap now, that our story here would simply be opened and we would be able to read it. And, how about we go ahead and we just perform our default action here. And of course, like we said, doing this is going to open this story. So we'll go ahead and just single finger double tap here and open our story.
Time. The iOS 11 features we're most excited about.
Great. Our article here has opened for us, and we've actually been placed on our heading here, but we also have a back button in the top left-hand corner of our screen here. And of course, activating our back button is going to take us back to our list of articles. But we don't want to do that because we want to check out our article here. Okay, so now we're able to either right-click and sort of move through our article here, or we could just perform our two-finger flick down continuous read gesture to begin reading our story from our heading or the top of our screen here. So, how about we do just that? We'll just flick down our screen with two fingers and start our continuous read. And we'll just flick down.
The iOS 11 features we're most excited about. These features could change the way you use your iPhone or iPad. Lisa E. Disico. September 6, 2017, 12 p.m. UTC. iOS 11, the latest version of Apple's mobile operating system currently in beta and due this fall, is full of new capabilities and features. Blank. Designed to make iPhones and iPads feel zippier and further streamlined. To highlight just two, iPhone owners will no longer...
Okay, and we just performed our two-finger single tap to perform our pause there for voiceover. And so that's pretty great. Now, it's important to know that we're going to have some tools that are available to us. And these tools are located down here across the bottom edge of our screen. Now, these are actually some of the same tools that we were given as custom actions earlier when we were, of course, in our list of articles or stories that we saw on our For You screen there. However, it's kind of nice to have them here as well because, who knows, we just might decide that we maybe want to share or save this article once we've actually read it. So it really is kind of nice to have these options from right within our article as well. Okay, so of course, to exit our article or any article that we might have open, remember, we will activate our back button up here in the top left-hand corner of our screen. Or, we could just simply perform our scrub gesture. So how about we just touch our back button in the top left corner here? So we'll just touch our back button.
AT&T Wi-Fi back button.
Okay, and now we will just single finger double tap to move back to our For You article list, and we'll just double tap.
Back Wednesday, September 6th, Nashville, 60 degrees, partly cloudy, heading.
Great. And of course, here we are back in our For You screen or list of articles. You know, the news app really is a terrific app for keeping up with all of our latest news. And it really is something that I find myself using, I tell you, several times during the day. Again, my name is Douglas Walker. Take care, and I'll see you next time. For more from the iFocus series, including many other topics of interest to individuals with vision loss, visit the Videos at Hadley page on the Hadley Institute for the Blind and Visually Impaired website at www.hadley.edu.